All right. Hello, and welcome back to YUBI versus OVS. And here I am Anti, and I'm joined by the wonderful Theracles. How you doing, Thera?
You know, I'm fantastic. I was taking a nap, but here I am as UB's got their backs against the wall, fighting their way back into it. And that kind of occasion calls for one thing, and that is a milkshake. So I've got Willow out in the yard trying to bring all the boys for the support. So here we are going into game 4.
Yeah, and game 4, Oversoul immediately gonna be taking the Ashe and the Vel'Koz off the table. You know, that was the big problems for them on the side of YUBI the last time. Meanwhile, YUBI gonna be taking away the Nila and the Maokai takeaway for Oversoul, not going to be opting for the Volibear. We're gonna get a very different draft this time around.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see the way the things are shaking up. The junglers have decided to swap it over this time. So if he says, I'm going to show you what Maokai's about, and Utility Bouncer says, no, let me show you what Volibear is about. So we got some real big like punches and subtle shout-outs happening here in the draft. All right, well, maybe not because they switched it up. But Sivir is on the table for the first time this series, so that'll be exciting to see how that pilots on and changes out the outcome.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting pick here because, you know, Ultravox, definitely someone who is more than capable of piloting that Sivir, but Oversoul have been super wary of it. They've been banning it over and over and over again. So the Sivir and Civilux classic Galio being left open means that this could potentially be a disaster for Oversoul Esports. What are they going to do in response?
You know, that's a great question. You know, of course, no longer Nyla on the field. That's out. No Ashe, no Sivir. So I think as far as AD carries, I think Ezreal is still a pretty powerful pick, but it really doesn't seem to match up in a lot of Oversoul's play style yet. Wouldn't be too surprised by that. But the early Mordecai just seems kind of be strange to me. They seem to have been, you know, given Limster a little more time usually on those picks, and he's actually been performing really well in this series. But for once, Freelancer seemed to get the upper leg on him, so maybe they're trying to reassess that strategy and have something a little more special planned for their bot lane this time.
Maybe. But one thing I will say is that the Jarvan being picked up does mean that we might be having the Jarvan jungle Maokai support. We might also just be having Maokai top, Mordekaiser mid, I don't know, some kind of craziness going on. Oversoul Esports still have a very nebulous composition, which is very good as long as you can put those pieces in places where they mean something, right? YUBI, on the other hand, have a very straightforward composition. It's not a question of where anything is going to be going. You know, for example, the Sivir Senna, we know exactly where those two champs are going to go. And with that, the Galio, we also know exactly where it's going to go. But every single one of these pieces are super impactful. So right now, YUBI have to get rid of the pieces that could round out this composition. Like, you know, Kai'Sa might be in a little bit of a weird spot because there's already 2 magic damage champions, so I guess you're going to have to be removing some of the mid laners, like the Syndra, which would have been phenomenal at shutting down the Sivir Senna.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that, it looks like Oversoul's going to go and take away the Nocturne. I was kind of excited to see if they were going to run that back, you know, to turn out the lights. Ornn was also still on the table, so we could have had a little more play with that too, so makes sense to me. You know, as far as junglers, Utility Monster still got, of course, a pretty big pool. Gonna be excited to see what he has pulled out for this. I think they've got damage covered, so finding a useful tank might be something he's looking for moving forward. And you know, these big mages taken away from the mid as well, so we might need to see something new from Free Potatoes for this round.
Yeah, maybe. Mordekaiser being picked up early does mean that things like, the uh what do you call it? The Singed actually ends up coming out and means that Oversoul can't play into a hyper carry composition because Singed is able to just walk straight through and fling those carries right into the backline, right? If this is Jinx, if this is Kog'Maw, right? You start running into a lot of issues where Mordekaiser has to ult the Singe. Anivia, on the other hand, really good at locking down the Singe, keeping him from doing exactly that. But, you do have champions like the Sivir Senna, which will be able to make you pay if you want to have a long extended fight. So right now, this final pick has to round out this composition. Who's it going to be? It could be the Ezreal. It could be something crazy like a Jinx. Maybe we see a Vayne. I kind of hope we don't, because Senna kind of makes that a living hell. But who is it? It's the Kai'Sa. Okay. All right. So Kai'Sa being picked here for OVS. I mean, she's a good champion, but I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you ever have to play AD Kai'Sa, you don't have friends, right? And right now, she's in a game where her teammates are both AP carries, so she's forced to go AD. So Matt Stat knows exactly where his friends' loyalties lie. Meanwhile, YUBI have the Gragas picked up for utility monster. We might get something spicy with a Singe jungle, who knows? But they have a very straightforward composition. They got 2 meat shields, 3 meat shields more so, that'll just run straight in and wreak havoc on the backline, while their backliners just make sure that not only are they fast, they're healed up, and they're doing so much damage the whole time.
Yeah, you're right, and then I'm excited to see. Again, we've got some new champions, new ways to shake up, so I'm excited to see how that plays out on the Rift. Until you wants to go back to the Gragas, I think is a fantastic pick here. The displacement for what the OVS wants to do can really be shaken off by a good, cast here. So, super excited to see how that plays out in favor for them. But as we load up onto the Rift, here it comes. This is potentially, game point for OVS being able to take the series, and YUBI could be on their way home. However, if YUBI's one thing, it's resilient, and we're gonna see if they can find their way back into the series for the reverse sweep here.
Yeah, maybe, but very interesting thing to note here. Once again, it is going to be the combat summoner for the top laner of YUBI, but that top laner is Zenzen, someone who was YUBI's top laner for a bit before they ended up swapping over to Champion Red. So it's pretty interesting to see Zenzen rocking that carry position once again, with the Dark Seal to start things off as well. We might get something spicy going on in this top lane. Meanwhile, Freelancer on the Senna, there's only so many options that you have when you do stick Freelancer in support, but Senna is one of the few that he is comfortable playing. I do believe it is pretty much just Senna and Veigar, right? I think are the 2 champions that Freelancer can play in bot lane.
I think that is what we've seen, correct? Yeah. So, pretty standard stuff here from the beginning. The last game we saw a little bit of a spicy invade, but I think teams are kind of feeling the pressure now. So, kind of just doing something a little more standard here. And the last few times the first bloods have happened all in the jungles, and I wonder if that's going to be what we see here as well. If they're going to keep looking for something cheeky like that, or if they've decided to maybe chill out and we'll see it play out more in the lanes this time.
Yeah, meanwhile in the top lane, Zenzen just going to continue to try to pick up as many of these minions as possible. Meanwhile, Ultravox is going to be rocking that airy Sivir, right? Very popular lately, very lane dominant, especially against champions with lower range like the Kai'Sa, like the Maokai. So right now, OVS really have to be careful. They've dragged Swifty over to this bot lane early. It's not going to be a full clear from the Jarvan, but Utility Monster, as always, going to be going for that full clear into eventual gank. So nothing too crazy, but is not going to be there in time to match the Jarvan gank.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be a couple paces behind, but that's okay. Hopefully YUBI is set up for, actually he's skipping straight to it. Yeah, he is going to be spotted out by the ward.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like that, a flash and a flag and drag, and Freelancer going to be going down. Both summoners going to be burned, and Oversoul Esports in the driver's seat. So many channel points to be had, and Oversoul is so happy about that one.
Yeah, picking up first blood has been good for them. You know, I think the games they've won, they pretty much secured it both times. So it's a good starting pace for them, and being able to really uh, make sure that Yubi's bottom lane, especially the after the lane swap, isn't comfortable for them as they're still trying to warm up in the role. So it's a good target, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, Freelancer going to be back in lane first. You're going to be able to pick up as many of these minions as possible. Ultravox, on the other hand, just going to try to get back, the experience deficit, the money deficit, really, that was caused by that early gank. You did have that ward just barely outside of the tri-bush, but it didn't quite pick up Swifty in time. And, this is the first time it's not a Volibear. This is the first time that it's not someone who you can just instantly see. Now, Utility Monster going straight in on Free and Potatoes. The flash coming out from the Anivia. Beautiful double stun and electrocute proc, but not going to get much more than that. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Swifty and Utility Monster going toe-to-toe here. And there's almost no chance of backup for Utility Monster, but doesn't need the backup, just needs that trusty smite. The smite fight war has already begun with Utility Monster coming out on top.
Yeah, despite the amount of kills, there's a lot of action kind of happening here on the map. Already, both mid having to burn their teleports and these small skirmishes, that aren't necessarily ending in kills, but they are having some type of impact, right? They're getting the small little gold lead that you're going to have when you start looking for these big skirmishes.
Yeah, meanwhile, Limster going down here, it seems, to Utility Monster. Zenzen with a beautiful flash, going to be able to stay away. But just like that, Swifty comes in just in time, saving his top laner. Utility Monster barely going to be able to survive. But Zenzen, with the tiny slivers of mana left on the Singe, is going to be able to clear out this wave. It's one of the benefits of that Singe. Swifty trying to catch one of them lacking. Right now, Utility Monster just going to take a swig and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, that was exciting too there, barely getting out at the last second there, Swifty really playing the hero so far, not only for his team, but for the series, is having a really stellar performance so far today, and, really able to kind of bail out Limster there on that one, so Zenzen seems to be causing a lot of mayhem up there, being able to get some jungle pressure happening. Is taking a little bit of a hit on the CS, being put on the back foot. So well played to Limster for being able to, kind of mitigate some of that and actually find a lead through this lane. But, other than that, we are starting to see that some of these movements are costing different lanes a small, gold deficit here and there. So hopefully we can make sure that that's under control before we receive our big first team fight.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty interesting, especially because, if you look at the laning phase between this game and the last, it's like night and day. Oversoul, just really coming into form, really able to control every single lane, every single option. The only part of the map where they don't have a lead in terms of farm is the jungle, where they have a kill lead because of that early gank coming out from Swifty. Swifty going for yet another gank. Going to be able to get the flash away from Civillock here. And you can see just how much work Limster's doing here. Oh, baby. Flung away, and Zenzen going to be able to live another day. But man, does it not feel good if you're Zenzen right now.
Yeah, that's got to not feel great, like you said there, being forced into the death zone. There's only so much you can do, but more action coming at you, I guess.
And just like that, Freelancer going to be getting Hex Flash engaged on Ultravox, trying to make something happen. Matsat getting lower and lower and lower. A flash forward from Ultravox. The Q not going to be able to do it, but Skarloey going to be going down. Utility Monster able to get that, but Ultravox, nothing to spell shield, nothing to salvage, and Utility Monster might be level 6, but probably isn't going to be able to get the huge cask to knock them back in, and instead just opts to fully shove in that lane, as Zenzen just gonna try to pick up the pieces in this top lane. YUBI on the back foot in what could be their elimination game once again.
Yeah, this game is just so like nail biting with these moments where everyone's getting away at just these really low health bars and just really showing exactly how much this series means to these players. Like really fighting tooth and nail at every point. And if you're not willing to like give 110% at every moment, that's how you're gonna lose these kills. And that might be ending and how you lose the game. It might be the reason that you're not taking home the championship for season 7 of Bad for Lab.
Yeah, but they will still be able to pick up that early dragon, 2 more souls to Senna, right? So Freelancer has been having a little bit of a rough game this time around on the Senna, which honestly is kind of to be expected, right? Someone who, wasn't a starting member, was a starting member before, but this time around just going to be hopping in onto the support role, not necessarily their main role. But more than that, it's going to be on a ranged champion who's incredibly squishy, has no escapes. So something very, very different from what we saw the last time around. Might be used to that Kennen move speed, just going to be able to lightning rush out of every single scenario. But this time, you've got, your very, very slow activation on the E. But what YUBI lack in laning phase right now, they make up for with the absolute raw strength of this composition when everyone's together.
Yeah, you're right. That go button is going to be like really phenomenal. When Ultravox is able to get the speed up, Zen's going to have a heyday. Utility monsters are going to be able to really follow up in any real capacity in it. And if they can get past Free Potatoes, I think they're going to have a hard time finding a strong fight. So.
Yeah, and just like that, Zen going to be not the one in Death Realm here, but instead going to be walking around no mana, and oh, here comes Civil Lock, going to be able to, with a heroic entrance, stop anyone from dying. Utility monster trapped in the Cataclysm, but not going down just yet. Free and Potatoes not on the long range carry of Syndra, so this time around going to be able to survive just enough health on Utility Monster, and the Dawning Shadow was never even used. Freelancer more than happy to hold on to that one. Actually, did Freelancer die a third time?
I do believe that is correct. Yeah, that happened off screen, I think. But once again, just playing out the best they can. Let's go ahead and take and see if we can't track down what happened while we were looking away here.
All right. So, meanwhile, while Topside is, doing your classic 006 and 007 impression, just trying to be the best that they can be, Freelancer just steps up a little bit too far once again, gets locked up by Skarloey and Matstat, and just so much gold to this Kaisa early is not what you want to see. But, Senna scales. There's something to be said about scaling and YUBI, right? They're trying to hold on to this as much as possible. They might not necessarily have a lead, but only 1,000 gold away is a solid place to be at the early stages of the game.
Yeah, you're right. And just really, Ultravox has probably got to be feeling a lot of pressure right now, not able to get quite as much done as he probably wants to in the lane with this power pick that they've been not being able to quite get. And again, with Freelancer, like you said, he's going to scale, and there's something about a champion that when your responsibilities to push are, you can still have a pretty good impact in a team fight. So can't take that away from him. That said, the gold lead has started to come up a little bit now, finally on our first point for the 1K mark. So that's going to start creeping up. However, there's nothing that one single team fight really can't change for you. And, one small note about Civlock here, he's been filling the ring. I can't remember the ring for some reason with the stacking, but he's been getting it pretty high consistently in almost every game. So he's been able to get 10 stacks pretty well.
Oh, Freelancer going to be getting engaged on here. Matstat doing so much damage. Going to be ulting in. Baited by the heal. Baited by the Dawning Shadow. The hunt is activated. The hunt is on, and Skarloey in a lot of trouble, taking a lot of damage here, going to be going down, and the teleport coming in from Limster, not going to be able to do enough. Immediately responded to the body slam flash, the cast, and just like that, utility monster is partying every single
No.
cask, every single bit of alcohol coursing through his veins. And right now, Swifty trying to get something in return. Spotted up by Utility Monster, though. Going to be able to survive a little bit longer. And Ultravox and Freelancer are so healthy, so ready, so waiting, as Swifty has to flag and drag over the wall. But in the end, YUBI gonna be the ones coming out on top. No teleports needed, only map awareness.
Yeah, that was really back and forth again. Once again, where people got real low, and it was the ones that burned everything. I first thought for sure Utility Monster was dead so many times there. So really well played on the side of him to be able to pick that up. Dragon is coming on the table soon, so we'll probably have a repeat of that pretty soon. Zen put on a speed boost and he was running down. We saw him in the mid lane there when Swifty came up at the end. So he's looking around. He's trying to look for what impact he can have as well. But really good, you know. Gragas sitting on 3-0-3, Andrew Mid and Galio sitting 2-0-1. That's gotta feel pretty good for YUBI to, like, you know, I don't want to say take it easy, but they have closed up that gold lead and they can still, you know, find a pretty solid footing if they want to take us to game 5 without Silver Scraves.
Yeah, and if you look bot and oh no, once again, Freelancer gonna be getting dove on as Swifty, Skarloey, and Matsat going to be taking out the Senna. I mean, the more that you pick up kills on the Senna, right, the more shutdowns you end up funneling into your team and the less value that Senna actually does bring you, right? So it could be the investment banking strat, but you know, let's see just how that one went down. You know, Freelancer sitting in the bot lane, trying to pick up as many souls as possible, trying to deny a few extra plates, right? Meanwhile, Swifty and Skarloey, just like that, going to be able just walk on in. Matstat going to be the one drawing aggro as Swifty just walked out of that tower. Does have to flash out, but you know, another kill's another kill, another dollar's another dollar, and another death is another death for Freelancer. But you know, YUBI honestly probably are feeling very fine about that with the plates in response in the mid lane and the top lane.
Yeah, I do imagine they would probably feel pretty good about that, forcing Delph from here. Maybe just trying to buy some time that we see the members coming up here.
Oh, and just like that, explosive cast committed, but not going to be able to save him. Zen gonna be able to flank Skarloey into the back line. Civillock with the taunt gonna be able to pick that one up. Swifty now slowed and picked up there. Zen running away for dear life. You know, with the Sivir ult, with the Singed passive, will be able to run straight over to Dragon. No junglers for either team available, and they're just gonna start this one up.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty safe to say YUBI's gonna go and move on their way to the second Dragon. That's the power of that team fight that you were talking about earlier there, when they're all on the same page, being able to execute and really turn. But when you look at YUBI as a team, one of the best things that I think they do is just split decision making and being able to be on the same page at the same time. So really, these type of compositions seem to be where they find success, especially in the last game too, where you know they were able to do not last game, but game 2 I think it was, where like the Shen was able to fall off on the Maokai and the Ultravox was on the Kaisa, and immediately able to put R. So when you think you're fighting one person, you're really not. The YUBI bad signal just seems to flare up and they come out of nowhere. They come out of the woodworks flying over walls and stuff. So that kind of decision making has seemed to be really good for them in the series.
I mean, we've seen it time and time again, so many seasons now. With their backs against the wall, YUBI comes in clutch. And right now, they're coming in just as clutch as they need to. You know, in game number 4, with no gold lead to speak of, but 2 dragons on the board here. You know, only 200 gold separates these teams. It might be a large amount of gold in the mid lane as far as the CS is concerned, but you know, Civillock just kind of getting strewn every which way around the map, going to be happy to pick up as much of this farm as he can. while Zenzen slowly farms up to a point where Matsat just doesn't get to play the game when Singe gets to a certain point. But, oh, a flag and drag for Ultravox means that he has to burn the flash, has the ability to just barely get away, but this tower is going to be going down if they don't have anyone to cover.
Yeah, feeling the pressure, OVS is going to go ahead and take that tower for themselves. The Nivea wall is going to go ahead and dissuade them from any more follow-up, and that's going to be a little bit more gold back in OVS's pocket. And the ever so small gold balloon seems to just keep coming up and being knocked back down. We'll see if any team's able to really hold on to it for much longer. Limster really seems to be doing a great job of keeping Civlock preoccupied if they don't want to lose another tower.
You know, that gold advantage just continues to loom over YUBI, just growing, shrinking, essentially breathing, right? You know, like a creature just waiting for its pounce to strike. And Oversoul just continually waiting for those moments, these opportunities to really punish Freelancer, to really punish YUBI, right? Every single time that an opening is shown, Oversoul just clenched down immediately. So right now, you have to be so careful on the side of YUBI to try to hold on to a manageable gold difference.
Yeah, that is a fair point. You know, and as we look at, you know, Freedom Potatoes in particular, he is going to start scaling up, and maybe just getting them items, got the first one completed, tier stacking away. 160 CS, pretty much significantly higher than most of the other players, especially on Team YUBI. So just pulling out the Frog and Special, just trying to get the gold up to start burning through the team fights as they're coming up, and they're going to need it. The damage coming from YUBI seems to be pretty large, just coming from that mid jungle combo.
Yeah, I mean, and just like that, you know, we can see once again, you know, YUBI just trying to farm up towards the late game, right? You know, they have the scaling composition, they have the late game team, while OVS are just going to try to accelerate things any which way, right? You know, your team is very heavily indexed on the laning phase, with the exception of the Anivia. Her biggest job is to deny as much of these towers being taken as possible. And on YUBI, they have not taken a single tower yet. So, you know, while it might not just be Freedom Potatoes who is getting that to happen, it's very much Freedom Potatoes' job, and Freedom Potatoes has been succeeding.
Yeah, but that's definitely a fair point, and structure seem to still be standing on the side of OVS, like you pointed out there, and just really trying to make the most of them feel uncomfortable. And as our broadcaster pointed out, it's the 300 CS win condition for Anivia. That's what we were looking for with that. So as we try to figure out what is next, you know, we got Dragon coming up here in just a little bit, a little over 30 seconds. It's really going to be on them to figure out if they can, you know, find a way to push YUBI back. And especially with Swifty now sitting on the Rift Herald, he's been really creative. He has had no problem giving up a dragon, especially for like two tower scenarios. So if they're not careful, this is often seems to be the point that YUBI has dropped the ball. So
Yeah, but right now you can see Freelancer just going to continue to get this poke damage off. Scar Loey just taking a little bit of damage there. Nothing too crazy just yet, though. Everyone in position. Freedom Potatoes trapped in the bot lane with Zenzen here. Limster going to be getting rooted up here, as Freelancer loves to walk up for these auto attacks. It's just incredibly daring on the Senna every single time. Zenzen gonna walk in at half health, but should be healing up soon enough, whether it be through the Senna Q or whether it be through the ultimate. You know, the dragon is going to be started up, and YUBI are looking for a fight, but is this the right time to take it?
hard to say. We do see the teleport coming in. Some damage is starting to be traded up on the top side, but Dam seems to be holding off very steadily, and I think we're about to go.
Oh, and just like that, Swifty gonna be able to go in onto Utility Monster. Utility Monster taken out immediately. Dawning Shadow going across the entire team. Limster going to be able to take Sivlock out of the fight. Zenzen out of the fight. Matstat going to go straight in with the Killer Instinct. Finds no one. But they do find ways how to push Yubi out of the fight. With Utility Monster going down immediately, they know that unless you get a full ace in a 4v5 without one of your most fed members, there's no chance of taking that dragon. So they immediately back off. They immediately start to reconvene. They immediately try to reframe their focuses and try to find a way back in. But that was an insane pick for the side of OVS. The beautiful ultimate for Skarloey to lock down Utility Monster and just start the absolute destruction, the disappearance of Utility Monster, and maybe, if this continues, the disappearance of YUBI from FOF history.
Yeah, you gotta be really careful. OVS, they all strong players. All of them have had some moment to shine in this series, especially Mats. This game on the Kaisa has been nothing short of just a game changer. Being able to be in the right position at the right time, almost even taking out Zen there at the end as well. His DPS has been fantastic, and when we look at, I think it was game 2 again, where they were playing Nyla, and we had the Swifty steal the Baron, come off and almost get a quadra. I think it was just a triple kill, but really that was a turning point there again. So Matt has really been also putting on a very strong performance and really making sure that it's not going to be the reason that they're not in finals was from his performance. So.
Meanwhile, on YUBI, right, they're just going to continue to try to farm up. They're going to continue to try to get back into this game. Matstat has picked up the Quick Blades here, looking to be picking up that Phantom Dancer sweet enough, trying to get that double Evo going, right? But I don't know. I don't like AD Kaisa. It's rough, right? Like, it's not that AD Kaisa's bad, right? Because obviously, if you've been also watching the same game we've been watching, Mattstat's been doing very well for himself. It's just AP Kaisa is so much better in every opportunity, with the exception being when you have 2 magic damage dealers on your team. And when Freedom Potatoes and Limster dealing the brunt of the team's damage, it's very, very difficult to really justify going anything other than AD on the Kaisa.
That is true. A little bit with their draft does kind of lock him into that choice, but I think he's making the best of it for the situation he's got. YUBI, although on their back foot, was more than comfortable giving up their first dragon, so not something super world-ending on that factor. We could, still have potential for a 7-dragon game. A lot of pressure coming around from this Baron, and pretty close to catching Utility Monster out there. That was a little close on that one.
Yeah, but instead just going to be belly bumping away as Civillock just gonna try to clear out this mid lane. Oh my god, beautiful catch for Utility Monster. Explosive cast going in. Dawning Shadow also committed. Everyone on the side of YUBI going straight in. Beautiful wall for Freedom Potatoes to lock out YUBI, to make sure that we don't get a 4v5 when it's not on Oversoul's terms here.
Yeah, we got
Meanwhile, Swifty and Zenzen just eyeing each other, still trying to go in, while Limster on the backline could be going for the ultimate, is going to pick up Freelancer. Okay, and Freelancer in the death realm. Flash committed for Limster. Can you pick up the Senna? No, you cannot, but Freelancer in the middle of Oversoul, going to be going down. Zenzen now in the middle of Oversoul, in the middle of the Cataclysm, more so, and Swifty also going to be able to pick up that kill. Civillock almost going down, but Ultravox just going to continue to pelt away as Oversoul try to seal this game out.
Yeah, they did put a lot of pressure there. It was a little bit of an awkward staggering. Limster was able to really kind of bait them in with that kind of pressure, but at the end of the day, YUBI in that initial movement through the river used a lot of their ultimates there. So when it came time for the actual fight in the mid, they were down so many resources that really OVS was able to kind of really pick off the remaining members that were just kind of put on the back foot without all of their abilities and summoners to really commit to an honest fight. So kind of awkward staging how that happened, but still more to come. Still far from over for this game, and we'll be seeing probably another repeat of that here in about 20 seconds for this next Infernal Dragon.
But yeah, right now, with the Infernal coming up, Civillock on that top side does have the ultimate available, does have the teleport available. Going to be looking to lock down Freedom Potatoes and try to keep the Anivia from joining. You saw just how powerful that Anivia disengage was in that last fight here. So right now, Yubi, do you take the fight on the dragon? 4,000 gold down, right? With Infernal, there's so little room for error. You kind of just have to go for it. And just like that, Zen in the backline, Limster taking a lot of damage, but in the Death Realm, Civillock locked up, not able to do much. Swifty taking a lot of damage. Matstat is down though, but Freedom Potatoes on the backline. Can you do it? Ultravox taking out Limster. The Nivea still not scaled. Utility Monster, you have to be so careful though. Freelancer doing a decent chunk of damage. The wall just barely too far away as the Senna going to be able to zone off the Anivia. 5-level difference, be darned. It does not matter, as YUBI going to be able to take this dragon with another miracle team fight. And this is showing us shades of the Season 3 YUBI, shades of the team that took the tournament by storm to go to the brink of defeat and able in the end to reign the champions. Right now, Oversoul had to be so scared of this YUBI because this YUBI seems to be in perfect form.
Yeah, that's true. There was a lot of chaos in that fight too. I like that Civillock was really committing to teleporting there first and have a big impact in the fight. And it really, Freedom Potatoes was there on the backside, not quite in the position they wanted to be when all the chaos started. So that was a big reason for not having their damage dealer there. Like you pointed out, he's managed to get a really big lead for himself, especially in gold and experience with his farm and this lead he's got. However, if you're not there at the fight, that number doesn't count for very much. So good job on Yubi really just being able to find and execute the fight that they want on their terms, like you said there. So that's really exciting. That we're most likely, I think, going to Game 5 if this kind of performance keeps up. However, both these teams are fantastic at when given an inch taking a mile. So we are looking at the Baron fight probably here for the next and all the pressures that come along with the mid game. And here it comes. Whoa!
Oh my God!
Exploded.
Yeah, I mean, Civillock does a lot of damage, but also takes a lot in return. Matstat with the killer instinct knows that he has lethal, going to be able to dash right on in and absolutely take out Civillock. Freelancer forced to flash by the flash wall from Freedom Potatoes here. But right now, it's not the only thing that's looking free, as another tower on the side of YUBI drops. Still not a single tower for YUBI taken yet, as Oversoul with 5-0 towers is doing so well for themselves. The first tower for YUBI finally gonna be taken up here, but oh baby, Utility Monster picked up, commits it all, but so does Oversoul, and Freelancer pulled over the wall into Death Realm, aptly named because there he goes.
That was wild. Okay, you know how I said a few seconds ago about taking an inch and then getting a mile? Like, all of a sudden, we take one kill on the Civillock, roll that into, 2 more towers, and then now a kill on Utility Monster. Zen's able to put some work on this top tower, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And the sentence that I just said a minute ago about maybe going to Game 5 seems like that was a lifetime ago as they start to move already over to the Baron.
Yeah, might have been a completely different lifetime, a past life here, as right now it seems like the only chances for YUBI are, just get isekai'd into a different timeline where they don't lose this game, because it's going to take an absolute miracle, some kind of cheat skill to really find their way back in here, right? You do have a second tower picked up, but now you're laning into Baron buffed minions. There's so little that you can do in order to deal with that in terms of your wave clear. It's all gonna rely on Ultravox clearing out waves, on Civillock clearing out these waves. There's so little ways how to stop these Baron buff minions.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and how dare you take my only talking point? As far as their only strategy is to turtle up. This pressure they're about to face is going to be insurmountable, as it is going to be up to Ultravox and Civillock to really lock down and stop the waves from coming if they can. Of course, it's going to be real hard with Freedom Potatoes being more than happy to kind of step forward and make that happen. Does have to be a little more careful now that Agnivia has been used, the pass has been popped in that last exchange. But this gold lead, it's no longer a small balloon. We're up to 6-7K almost here between the teams, and honestly, that's game changing here as you're forced in these conditions now, right? Even though you have 3 dragons, I don't think Oversoul cares about Soul at this point. I think they're more than happy to run away with this game far before we even see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of which, this soul is likely not going to be picked up this time around. You do have Utility Monster helping clear out these minions in the top side, only 30 seconds away from that dragon spawn. So there's no chance that YUBI has to get over to that dragon in time. Meanwhile, Freelancer getting tagged up by the Void Seekers, could end up in a lot of trouble here. The Senna is continually scaling, and yes, she will eventually be able to deal with the entirety of Oversoul's team, but until you get to those like 90, 100 soul breakpoints, it's going to be pretty difficult, right, for the Senna to really start to shine, especially on an item and a half.
Yep, that's pretty much the what the situation looks like, right? We're gonna be moving over here into the dragon. UB shoved so far back in their base that it's not even something that could be on their map. What is on their map, however, is Limster, who seems to be getting a clean getaway for himself. So, good job reading the map there for what's potential to shake. And ooh, that's a pretty good cue for Gragas, but
Pretty hefty. Yeah, I mean, it is the full AP Grag, but right now, the only thing that we're going to be seeing the power of is this Sivir Spell Shield. Going to be able to deny that one flat out as Civillock and Utility Monster getting slowed up by the saplings, taking a decent chunk of damage.
I would have gave you $10 if you said the power of Pine Slaw right there, but that's okay. Not sponsored by Pine Slaw, just so you know. But we're looking here. We're looking at the semifinals coming in at a very pressing moment. YUBI in a very dark hour, 2 games down if they want to make it their way into the finals for the final time in season 7 here. However, it's looking, like I said, looking very dark. We're gonna see if our 4-time season champions can somehow pull out a 5th one.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell just how things end up working out here. But right now, YUBI just able to slow down the pace of the game, right? That Baron buff was pretty impactful, but 106 stacks on the Senna means that we're starting to see these breakpoints, especially as we get closer and closer to that rapid fire cannon for Freelancer. And this Senna is starting to do a non-insignificant amount of damage here. Swifty gonna be getting caught out here by Utility Monster. Does have some extra backup in the wings. The smite committed by Swifty here, but oh, hold on, seems to not be the only thing being committed here. Is Swifty going to be going down? Not in the slightest, actually. Instead, only thing going to be committing to is the performance, as Swifty going to be able to sneak on out of there, an escape artist of our generation.
Yes, indeed. Quite the feat there, faking his own death in Anti's eyes, but that's all right. I'm sure there's still more to see coming here shortly. A lot of resources were used for that, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and take this and pivot it instead of from kills back to the siege game. Although we don't have Baron minions up, that's okay. Zenset doesn't have teleport there, so if he's going to commit to the teleport push, that could be very detrimental if Yubi's not able to hold on their own.
Yeah, it absolutely could be. But, Freelancer once again going to be picking up souls as Oversoul pick up the towers. We've seen this time and time again. Limster are going to be able to pick up Utility Monster. So much AP on the Gragas means that's so huge. Ultravox going to flash out here, getting dashed in on by Madstat. Swifty looking to seal it out, goes a little bit too far forward. Freelancer gonna be able to pick up kill number 1, kill number 2, and just like that, YUBI are back in this fight, back in this game. Free and Potatoes gonna get locked up by Civillock here as Zenzen is just running straight through the frontliners, doing consistent damage, being as annoying as possible on the Singe. Red turret destroyed yet again, but so is the Anivia. Zenzen finally gonna be going down here as another one of these Mordekaiser kills comes through and does so much work for the side of Oversoul. But once again, YUBI hold on, not dropping a single one of these inhibitors, looking for the Baron, looking for an opportunity back into the game. Ultravox was able to survive for so long. The Freelancer was able to free hit for so long and able to get them all back into this game. One soul picked up by Freelancer over and over and over again, was able to get them right on in, and Limster is right in, looking for Freelancer, looking for a way to do it. Dawning Shadow committed, now trying to survive. Freelancer on the wrong side of the map, wrong side of the game. And right now, seems to be on the wrong side of the border of life and death here as YUBI's chances are dwindling.
Wow, that was insane. Like we said, every one of these players has found a way to be huge in this game. And Limster right there just bought so much space and time to being able to dissuade YUBI back into this game with a play like that. That was huge. Well played to Limster for like really identifying that kind of play in such a crucial moment. As we're going to go ahead and move to our 6th dragon of the game here in about 10 seconds. And Zenzen's in trouble. Maybe not. He seems okay.
And just like that, you know, you do have the Flag and Drag and the Maokai ultimate committed, but not going to be too crazy. Instead, it is going to be the YUBI Classic 7 Dragon game here, but there is no response for YUBI. You know, they were looking at the Baron, weren't even able to clear out the control ward before they found themselves in a rough position and decided to hightail it out of there.
Yeah, fair point. This seems like the time, Anti. 37 minutes in, 8k gold lead, or 7k gold lead over to OVS. We are on Baron, the teleport's coming through. This is it. This is the moment, the determining factor, and here it comes.
Yeah, and just like that, with the Baron picked up, Utility Monster in a lot of trouble in the Death Realm. Limster going to be able to pick it up. Matstat in the back line, going to be able to do so much damage. Killer Instinct forward, 1 kill, 2 kills, looking for a 3rd, looking for a 4th. Civillock, come here, baby. The Penta is a possibility, but Zenzen and Utility Monster, sorry, Zenzen and Civillock, the solo laners, going to be the last ones on the side of YUBI, standing in the way of Oversoul's victory, standing in the way of Oversoul's chance of finals. But here they are, Oversoul Esports. They're over the chance of going for a Dragon Soul. They don't care about Dragon number 7. They only have their eyes set on the Nexus and on the finals. And just like that, YUBI are denied the 5th championship. YUBI are denied a trip to the finals, and Oversoul Esports, welcome to the script. Welcome to the finals.
Yeah, indeed. Welcome, Oversoul, to your finals. You'll be playing BPZ Blue Bayou Zoo, an event I didn't think that we'd be seeing at the start of the season, but congratulations nonetheless. And thank you so much to YUBI for all the time that you put in, you know, over the years, being a part of us, and, you know, staff, everything you guys do. It's been fantastic to be, you know, with you guys through this journey. So thank you so much. Of course, we're going to have to do a quick shout out to our sponsors here, Adobe Creative Cloud, oh man, Academy of Arts, and Logitech. Thank you so much for that, broadcaster, for my brain part. But, you know, if you haven't seen this before, we are going to get to work on a fantastic end of season production. The finals is going to be incredible. That's not something you're going to want to miss. Speaking of things you're not going to want to miss, we're going to have an interview shortly here with our winners, Oversoul Incarnate, which I believe was Matt Stat and Limster. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Anti, any last closing thoughts for you?
Yeah, I mean, just like that, I didn't think that we'd ever see it, but YUBI are out before finals. And here we are, seeing the birth of a new potential champion over Seoul Esports. But they gotta fight it out with BBZ in the finals, and only time will tell just how crazy that series is. I'm so excited.
Hello, folks, and welcome to the interview desk. I am your friendly neighborhood chatcaster, Shargan, and I have got the Limster and Matt Stat joining me over Soul Gaming Esports, right? I got it right this time? Because I know I've messed it up in the past.
Over Soul Esports Incarnate, but it's
Over
close.
Soul Esports Incarnate. No, that wasn't even anywhere. Give me that. That was about as close as y'all were in Game 4, gold-wise with YUBI. Like that's how close that was.
Yeah, we thought it was we actually thought it was way closer. I think as Game 4 went on, we were kind of ramping up in terms of how hype our comms were. But I think we definitely thought it was still a lot closer than it was gold-wise. And then when we won, I think we had the fight before we won. I think we had a feeling we were gonna win, but before then it was definitely a nail biter.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of folks had this as a 3-1 series, but not in Oversoul's favor, but it was actually for YUBI's favor. So, like, how do you feel the games went this time against? Like, how do you feel like they were playing?
Matt, you want to take this first?
Yeah, sure. I thought we played pretty good. Relatively clean. A couple nail biters for sure that were very enjoyable to play. And yeah, no, me personally, this is more or less how I thought it would go.
Are you still riding that perfect Renekton game?
That was me.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I mixed up the voices in my head. My bad.
You're good.
Liam, what'd you think?
Yeah, I thought I was really impressed with YUBI's overall series. I think I think they are clearly a team that excels in long form drafting. So over not a single game, but over series. Game 1, I think we got almost all of our best champs. Like even though the draft was maybe fine, maybe pretty even, just not looking at the players, but we got all our best champs pretty much. So that I think we were very comfortable that game, and then they definitely picked it up. Starting Game 2, Matt carried the hell out of Game 2. I think we weren't that worried because we knew we outscaled, but they still put up a great fight, and then obviously Game 3. We don't talk about Game 3.
I feel that. Well, it's like, I guess one thing I'd love to get you guys to talk about would have to be, how did you feel about the experience so far in FOF? Like, just as a general, Limster, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's been super fun. This is my first time playing a comp league like this. Same for Mattstat and also Freedom Potatoes, who's our mid laner, Jamie. And it's so fun. It's like I think we all enjoy it. We play a lot of flex because we enjoy the team, the team 5v5 coordination aspect more than we do solo queue, and this just is that to a whole nother level, and it's so fun. It's so fun.
Absolutely. Mattstat, what about yourself? How in
Yeah.
one sentence, how would you encapsulate the FOF experience?
One sentence.
Can you do it? I can make it harder.
Okay.
I can tell you to do it. Can you give me it in an and/or statement?
Super fun and rewarding. There you go.
Super fun and rewarding. Okay. Well, would you say watching the BBZ versus Art of War game was super fun and rewarding? Because that certainly went. Was that the way you expected it to go?
To be honest, no. I thought A-Mid would be able to, kind of pop off and like do his thing. I feel like he's been doing that for most of the season. And I don't know. I think Jaffe, my eyes kind of turned to Jaffe in that series, just going crazy. So that was not how I expected it to go, but honestly excited.
Yeah. To I guess to piggyback on that. I didn't really have an expectation going into that game, to be honest, because I think Art of War 2 owed BBZ during the season, but while watching the second game, which is it was the Amid 1v9 Tristana game, where they went from like 10k gold down to winning in 3 minutes. Like BBZ is they're a very volatile team, but they're also a super high ceiling team, I'd say. Yeah, but during the season I was kind of joking around my team, and I was saying, this is before Energy won NALCS this year, or won LCS this year, but I was joking that PBZ were like the Energy of FOF, because they're super high highs and also super low lows. And yeah, I think it's going to make for a great series next week, for sure.
I'm absolutely looking forward to it myself. And, you know, now, before we go, I'm going to give you both a chance to, if you have anything you want to say to BBZ before you meet them in the finals, you've got the mic.
You first, Sam.
All right. No. I just wanted to trash talk. Good luck. We'll beat you 3-1. See you next week.
That's
Short, sweet, and to the point.
one thing I'll say is get some good practice in, because I want it to be a banger series. I want to be challenged. That's what I'll say. And I think it's going to be a 3-1 as well.
All right, 3-1, just like your 1v3 as Nyla in game 2. I'm kind of expecting it to be pretty hype.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Also, one more trash talk. Don't give Matt Neela.
Why would you say that? I wanted it to happen at least once. Now it's not going to happen at all.
No, it'll be up. It'll be up. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, you hear that, BBZ? You got to let them through at least once. We got to get to game 5. I wanted to see this as a 3-2. I don't care which way it goes. I just would need the final, I want to see a game 5 happen just so we can get the new intermission screen that we've been holding on to. We've been waiting. We want this to get to a game 5. So I'm sorry, everybody.
True.
That's what I want to see.
Wait, y'all have a new. Why didn't the script writers make this game the game 5? Or what was close? Could have used it before.
It was
that
in
bad.
the script. That was why YUBI lost game 1, was so they could get side selection, but it just didn't end up happening.
Unlucky.
I guess someone left out a page.
The script might have been stored on Navi's internet. Lucky guy. That's really unlucky for him. Sucks that
It
he
is.
missed a series
It
of
is.
internet issues.
Well, with that, I want to say thank you both so much. It's been fantastic watching Oversoul compete. Really, really awesome. That was one banger of a match. YUBI definitely did absolutely pull out all the stops in that game 4. It was an exciting match, and it's unfortunate to see their season end there, but it is going to be an exciting grand final with Oversoul Esports Incarnate versus Blue Bayou Zoo. That's going to be an absolute banger set of a match. Remember, folks, check out the FOF Connect. It's always got some really fun articles, and we want to say thank you so much to our sponsors, Adobe Creative Cloud, Logitech Gaming, and of course the Academy of Art. We greatly appreciate all of your support, and the absolute most important people that we need to thank are folks like Matt Stat and the Limster. Thank you so much for competing in this Renderfo series. We wouldn't have a esports league as exciting as this one has been without players such as yourself. So I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you, and thanks to the FO staff as well. We wouldn't have a league as exciting as this without the commitment from the staff. It seems really well run. I don't have prior experience in the leagues, but the production value and all that seems super, super high.
I second that.
Well, I'm glad we're able to keep with the illusion then. With that, folks, we're going to go ahead and close it out. Say thank you very, very much. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Be safe out there, and we will see you on the Rift.
take up to the shop, now me candalo. Big man low, me candalize, me candalo. My tick-tock. I think I'm gonna shop now, me candalo. Big man low, me candalize, me candalo. My tick-tock.